What's going on, guys? It's Romy here with That Racing Channel. Today we are out here hanging out with Brian and his really clean Audi TTRS. Excited to hop in this thing and feel the launch. As you guys have seen, Javier has ridden in a TTRS and he says the experience was amazing, so I can't wait to experience it for myself. What's going on, man?
How's it going?
Good, how about you?
Great.
You mind turning on the car for us real quick?
Sure. So it's built motor, has IROS 850 kit on it, makes right around 900 horsepower on our dyno, stock clutches, pretty much stock fueling system except for fuel pump and upgraded port injectors. Yeah, so this is made by Unitronic. It's one of the highest flowing intakes on the market. We actually modified it to fit with the IROS turbo inlet. So it's a 4.5-inch inlet and a 4-inch intake throughout.
I see you added a little JDM touch to the car with the TE37s.
It's like the bucket list of wheels for me. I was a big Honda guy my whole life, and it's always the wheel I wanted, and now that I can afford them, they're on a European car as well.
Alright, so how about we go for a ride?
Let's do it.
Alright, so we're inside the car here, and as expected, it's an RS series, so the interior is going to be really clean. I'm noticing you got a little gauge over there. What's that for?
So this is a P3 gauge. I can do boost, I can do air fuel ratio, pretty much anything that you can get from the OBD2 port.
Now I'm looking back here. It doesn't have the rear seats, so I'm assuming that's weight reduction right there. And you were mentioning how you also, with the wheels, do you know how much weight you reduce by doing that?
So the rear seats are right around 70 pounds for the top and the bottom. I did carbon ceramic brakes, which is right around 30 pounds of rotational weight, and then the TE37s, which were right around 8 pounds a corner of weight reduction. So it's pretty close to a stock weight with just wheels and tires. The carbon ceramic brakes or the steel brakes, not only with performance straight line, but handling, pretty much everything that has to do with performance, they helped a lot. So I do have a Haldex controller on it, and that allows me to put a little bit more power to the rear. So I'm gonna turn it up and see what she does.
From the launch, it goes. How much does this car weigh?
Right around 3,200 pounds.
This is stock exhaust too, right?
Stock exhaust. It just has the, with the IROS full frame kit, it has a 3.5-inch downpipe. It gets rid of the factory mid pipes, and then it just mates up to the stock exhaust.
What ECU do you have on this car?
So the ECU is tuned by Unitronic, and the transmission's tuned by Unitronic as well. We try to have a little bit of pops, but nothing that's too overly aggressive. It's a fine line. So the TTRS has the added benefit that if I put it into comfort mode, I can actually have the exhaust open, and there's absolutely no pops in comfort mode.
And prior to owning the TTRS, you had what was it, an RS3?
I had an RS3, yep. So that had a TT 700 turbo that ran, I believe, 9.7 at 145.
And comparing the two cars, do you feel any difference? Because they're pretty similar, right? Or are they different?
So the drivetrain is identical. The biggest difference is the TTRS weighs about 250, 300 pounds lighter. And it's got a lot more aluminum, and the chassis just feels tighter. So it's more of a driver's car than it would be like a family. The RS3 really is a great bargain for what it is, though. If I didn't want to chase every 10th in the quarter mile, the RS3 is a great car. Yeah, the engine transmission, actually this engine transmission turbo setup is directly out of my RS3, so.
Oh, nice.
sideways that time. Okay.
I'm in love, man. I really like this car.
This car's a blast.
Yeah, dude. Holy crap.
Do you want to see a pretty cool feature?
Sure.
So with this Haldex controller, I can turn it to front wheel drive just by hitting the hazards. So if I hit the hazards,
What the hell?
and then you turn the hazards back off and it's all-wheel drive.
What? That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, right? That's a Cyvex Haldex controller.
And does it do that for like rear wheel drive option as well, or just a front wheel drive?
Just front wheel. Haldex is primarily front wheel drive, so the rear wheels are what turn on and off.
So one thing I want to point out, we're driving around inside the city, and there's some pretty bumpy roads around here, and the suspension, it's taking it pretty well. It's riding, it's not too bumpy, it's not too stiff, it's just right, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, so the car has magnetic ride, and it's lowered on KW height adjustable springs. The only difference that I've done is I put a 450-pound spring in the rear to try to help with the weight transfer, but I'm really happy with how the car rides. Hey, my name is Brian, and this is my 2018 Audi TTRS. So for the engine, I'm using Eurocode internals, which are Malley pistons, Perillo rods, Feria valve train. For the turbo setup, it's an IROS 850S kit, which is a Zona Rotor 8264S, and right now it's running right around 33 to 34 pounds of boost. So as far as the bolt-ons, it has a STM front mount intercooler, has the Unitronic 4-inch carbon fiber intake, still has stock clutches. The TCU is tuned by Unitronic, as well as the ECU tuned by Unitronic, has the tile wastegate and the factory diverter valve. Beyond that, it's a pretty simple rod and piston setup, if you will. Nothing crazy as far as ported head or anything like that. So the transmission is still stock gears, still stock clutches. So really the only thing that's done to it is the TCU tune, which gives about 18 bar of clutch pressure. And then as far as the rear end, it's still stock, but it does have the Cyvex Haldex controller. As far as the engine management, it does have the Unitronic tune on it, which is a beta tune. So right now there's only a couple people running this software. I actually dropped my car off for 6 months at Unitronic, where they developed the software with the turbo system. So as far as the software goes, it is Unitronic using the factory ECU. The only thing that's different is we do have 4-bar map sensors, Unitronic port injectors, and then it has the IROS low pressure fuel pump. So as far as the drivetrain, it's still stock axles, still stock clutches, still stock drive shaft, stock pretty much everything except for the software that controls it. So as far as power goes, on a chassis dyno, it makes right around 900 horsepower at the crank and 900 Newton meters of torque. Using Draggy, the best time that I've gotten with the car is a 922 at 154 miles an hour. The best trap speed I've gotten is 155 miles an hour. It'll do a consistent 0 to 60 in 2.2 to 2.3 seconds, exactly how I drive it every day on the street. CB Tuning in Allentown, Pennsylvania is the one that built the motor. As far as the rest of the maintenance go, I use AP Tuning, which is in Pennsylvania. They do a lot of the basic maintenance on the car. And then as far as software goes, it's a mix of Cyvex and OEM ECU with Unitronic tuning it. So as far as the wheels and tires go, they're 18x9 Volt TE37s. They are plus 50 offset. And as far as the tires go, they're 285, 35, 18-inch Nito 555R. It does have the KW HAS height adjustable springs with 450-pound springs in the rear. This car was a factory steel brake car. I'm a big believer in weight reduction, so one of the first things I did is I put the carbon ceramic brakes on it. just that alone saved over 30 pounds from the front. As soon as the weather starts getting a little cooler and we get some better DA, the goal is to go to the track. My favorite track is probably Cecil County, and hopefully I can hit an 8.9 at 156, 157 miles an hour. For sure, got to give a shout out to Unitronic. Without them, the car wouldn't be running as well as it does, and honestly, it drives like it did when the car was stock. And of course, iROS Motorsports, Hank at iROS really pushes this platform, and I don't think if he was involved in the platform that we'd be where we are today with it. iROS definitely pushes everybody to go faster with their cars.
You're coming from Pennsylvania, correct?
Yep.
And you're driving down here, you already did a couple pulls.
And that was my goal with the car, is to have something that I can go to shows, I can go racing, and I don't really have to worry about changing out wheels or really doing anything too. So I can hop in the car, drive 2 hours, and have some fun and still drive home.
No problem at all. Yep.
Yeah, no problems. The car's super reliable.
Yep.
So what do you think of the launches?
Man, all I know is it feels amazing, man. I love this thing. So it says right there 1.4 Gs. Is that from the last pull we just did? Or?
Yeah, that's the last launch, 1.4 Gs.